Hello, and welcome back to the channel. How you doing? All right. So today we are going to be talking about the updated bundle analysis for August and September. So a lot of things have changed since our last bundle analysis video that we do want to talk about. The token, 1,000 token addition instead of a variant is a very big deal in terms of how it changes my math. And then also just some other things I did not include. Some things I didn't include that I'm now including into the numbers. So let's begin. So I do have like the quick and simple conversion, just like here is the conversion rate if you want to do it yourself. You don't want to go through the whole methodology. Essentially, if you're not opening, ooh, oh, I'm in the wrong. Oh, so let me fix that. If you're not opening collector's reserves, it's 500 credits to 240 tokens. So you just times the credit by 0.48. And if you are opening your collector's reserves, then it's a little bit better than 0.05, but it's much nicer to just say, oh, just times it by 0.05. And then gold is now worth tokens equally. So 100 gold is 100 tokens. So that's like the easy way of doing the conversion yourself if you want to, do the work. But essentially, the rationale at least is in my old numbers, I did not account for the 50 credits per 12 levels on the collection track. So every time you went up 12 levels, you'd have 50 credits to get. I did not add that in. So my numbers were just like ignoring that reality. And then now the big one is that you have 1,000 tokens every time, on average, every time you get 2,400 credits. Now I mean, obviously there's a lot of caveats there, but generally that's going to be the case. So before we had 1,500 credits. That's the amount it takes to get a new card on average if you're opening spotlights. So that's 6,000 tokens. Then we have the 625 tokens for the 1,000 token kickback just divided. And then you have the 1,250 credits that you're getting per 1,500 credits you use as a kickback, which end up being around 550 tokens. So overall, you get 7,177 tokens, which is around 48%. That's a much easier number to use, 48 than 0.7478, which so that's the rationale there. It's a little bit more updated, and the rate is better if you open your reserves. However, I can't use that in the calculation since some players, including myself, are not doing that. Are currently holding my reserves, so it'd be weird to say, "Oh yeah, this is your rate," but that's if you're opening your reserves, and if you're not, then your rate's worse. So I'm just using the non-opening reserves rate, and it's not a big deal. It's between 0.48 versus 0.5. It's not like the biggest number swing. So if you were to open it, you would get 1,500 credit kickback every 15,000 credits. So like 10% credit kickback essentially. So that's something to keep in mind. And now another thing is credits have more value if you're missing cards. So obviously, I'm assuming that you're not getting cards with the other spotlights. So obviously, it takes 2.5 spotlights on average, and I'm not giving that any value. Those other spotlights you open, but some players will not have those other cards, right? They're not gonna have Galactus, they're not gonna have Nadina or anything like that. So those, if you are missing cards and you're opening spotlights and you're getting cards from there, that's gonna make credits worth a little bit more since the credits can give you the chance to get more cards. However, for a lot of players, that's not going to be the case. A lot of players, you're just going to be only getting the new card every time you use a spotlight. You're not going to be like that lucky, or so. I'm not going to. And the math would be a lot more complicated, right? So I'm not adding that in. But if you are a new player and you are missing a lot of Series 4, Series 5 cards, then credits will be way more valuable, right? Because you have the chance of getting a new card every time you spend those 6,000 credits. All right. So overall, with this change, the methodology changes, and the bundles I'm using as the baseline also changes. So the big winners, I would say, is gold is now way more valuable, essentially, since you can now the gold credits conversion is still, like, the base one is still bad, but using gold for token resources is now a lot better since the credits give you a lot. So in terms of gold value, Cyber Holiday is now better than Token Tuesdays since the credits give you quite a good amount of resources. And it actually worked out perfectly because you get around 7,560 tokens in terms of progression for spending 7,500 gold. And that roughly translates to 1 token per gold. So it allows me to make the calculations every time gold is just worth 1 token. So that's the new thing. I believe last time it was like half that, essentially, but with this calculation is a lot better since credits are better and you're getting tokens back every time you use credits. So it's nice. And then in terms of money bundles, it's not the super expensive Beautiful Beyond Compare anymore. It's now this Bring the Pain. So they gave 4,000 gold for $30. So 4,000 tokens essentially is the translation, is the rate. So it ends up being 133.3 tokens per dollar. So you get a little bit better. So Beautiful Beyond Compare was like, I think 1.16. So this one ends up being a little bit better. And I will say that if you go to very small bundles, like $5 bundles and $10 bundles, the numbers can be a little, you can find better deals basically. But I didn't think that was like very honest to put those there. So I think this one is like a very good bundle, but isn't like wonky numbers, right? Like if that 10 bundle was like was still $5 and I use that, like that would ruin all the bundles ever I going for, and that kind of thing I wouldn't want. So that's why we're using this particular one. It's a very good bundle, and it kind of isn't too cheap that the other, like, it skews the numbers crazy. All right. Now, here are the best bundles for August and September. Now, I will say they're overall around 80% value. So these aren't like the best bundles you can ever get. So if you are willing to save, feel free to skip August and September. There's nothing crazy that jumps out. There's no Cosmic Wildfire level bundle that you want to get. So if you don't really see anything appealing that you want to spend your resources on, it's perfectly fine to skip these 2 months. That's the same thing I said last time, but I just want to reiterate. I will say, like, in terms of the best bundles, Days of Summer Pass jumped up in priority, especially because it has a ton of gold. So that gold value was a lot better. And then they also changed the Stegron bundle as well. They made it gold instead of money, and they also increased the credit value by a significant amount. So it's not actually quite a good bundle. So this is something that prompted me to make this video quickly, because I usually do it after they release a patch, but this one is not going to stay in the game for too long, right? So if this is the type of bundle you're looking for, it's pretty good. One of the better bundles you're going to get over the 2 months. So if you have 7,500 credits and you think you don't want to wait for an even better bundle, which there probably will be, the Stegron bundle is pretty okay now. And if you're missing Stegron, it's a plus, right? So so cool. Now, something I started adding was just having all the bundles in one slide that you can just see and compare with their tokens, with their values. So you can see, a Vasti Admiral Stegron bundle, those two are the best for the 2 months. And then as you go down, it's around 60% value. So not something crazy, but, depending on the variants, maybe you want them. And then the art show one is really not very enticing. It's less than half value. You're really getting a little bit scammed for that particular one. But those variants are really nice, probably. So some people are still going to get that bundle because they like the variants. And then we have the daily offers. So now you can buy 10 700 variants and get some resources back, some progression with that. Now, it's still not that good if you're looking at it only through progression eyes, but if you're looking at it with that you're getting 11 variants back, it's going to feel a lot better. Now, speaking of the variants back, something people were asking me to do, which I didn't realize how much effort it would take, but I did do it, is to now put the price per variant for all the bundles now. So if you were looking at a bundle and you were saying, oh, I really want to see how much the variants are costing me here. Well, now you can kind of look at this slide, or you can look at the actual. I'll have all the bundles by themselves as well, but you can look at this slide and see. Okay, so Advasi Admiral, you're paying 400 gold per variant there. Beach Bums, you're paying 357 gold per variant, right? Which is less than the 700 you'd pay for a mystery variant, or for 700 you pay for a basic variant, and then the 1200 you'd pay for I don't buy these, the more expensive variant. So you can kind of see how much the differences in the gold price points. It's going to be the case that the more expensive the base bundle is, the more expensive the variants are going to be. So a lot of the cheaper bundles tend to have better price per variants, where like the art show, you're paying 2,000 gold per variant, which is like, I wouldn't get that. And then you can also see the Cosmic Wildfire. So the Cosmic Wildfire, even though it's one of the best value variants, it wouldn't be one of the best price per variant bundles, which is kind of interesting. It's still, but usually you're not getting Cosmic Wildfire because you're like, I need the variant. It's because the progression's really high. And you can see the daily offer values start being good if you start adding in the price of the variants. Then it's a pretty good deal if you're buying 700 variants to go for that as a progression, and you get to choose the variants, and there's a lot of pluses with buying the ones you want. So that's something cool. And then we do also have the money bundle values here. Days of Summer Pass, only one that really passed 80%. So really the only one I can really recommend. I don't know if I recommend money bundles, but in terms of like the numbers, it's decent. And then you have all the other ones going down from there. And then same thing here. We also have the price per variance for money bundle. So you're just looking at how much it's costing you in dollars per the variance. So this one, I didn't I don't have like what's the lowest ever released, right? I didn't look through every single bundle and check that, right? But I just looked through these are ones, and these numbers just looked nice to me. So that one you're gonna have to take a grain of salt how much you're willing to spend. But essentially, like the more expensive the bundle, the more you're paying for the variant. This is just a trend that seems to be the case here. So the $5 bundles, the money bundles, are really very cheap compared to the like Death Becomes Her, where you're paying $20 for that variant essentially. So gotta be careful. But yeah, this is like the overview. This is the big takeaway. These are the ones. This is really all you need to kind of have a good grasp on what variants and bundles you want to go for. Right now, I do have each of them individually, where if you want to kind of take a look, right? My problem is I have to make timestamps for all of this. I don't know if I want to make timestamps for all of this. Just being a little bit real for a second, but we'll see what I think about. But yeah, we do have all the particular bundles, and you can kind of see where the price per variance for and the values in their own slides. So I'm gonna go through it slowly, but I'm not going to go crazy with all of the particular bundles in here. So some of them are pretty good. And you can see like some of the money bundles where you're paying 640 gold, which isn't bad because the base price is not super high, right? So even though this, I would say, is a pretty popular type of variant that people will go for it, 640 is not horrible, right? So, now the mystery packs are pretty weird because you're not getting a variant of your choice, right? You're getting a mystery variant for the price. So it's weird that these mystery packs are not high, like they're not good value, right? You're paying $8 for a mystery variant. Like, what is that? Like, I don't understand. This is the worst mystery pack, to be fair, but still, it doesn't make sense to me that it's like that. And we have the full charge, and we have the tin and all that stuff. They have the same prices. So here's another like anime type bundle. You're paying 1,000 gold. It's one of the more expensive bundles. So they tend to know which bundles people will gravitate towards, and they tend to be a premium for those. So things like the One Punch women ones are very pricey, but if you're willing to pay 1,000 gold for each of the variants, which some people will, right? Because if you think, oh, I would pay 1,200 gold for the variants and for both of them, then you're saving 400 gold in that kind of calculation. So that one's really up to you. And then the Heroes for Hire, I really don't recommend. But if you are looking at just from a variant perspective, you're paying $3.33 per variant, right? Which, is $10. You get 3 variants, right? You're paying $3 per variant. There's no progression, which I hate, but it's something to look out for. And you can just kind of go through them, right? I think this one's pretty good. You're only paying 400 gold per variant, so a lot of good values there. I don't know how to value the dollar ones, right? The gold ones I can look and see, oh yeah, this makes sense. The dollar ones is really up to your discretion, I guess. But that is most of the work. The slide with all of them is really what I think you should be focusing on. Obviously, it's condensed so that you can easily compare and contrast all of the bundles coming out. But I did do this work, so I want to show it. I'm not, but it's not the most important slide in particular at all. So that's really hopefully a good analysis of all of the different bundles here. I wouldn't necessarily say this month is the best month. Personally, I would save for October and see if something really jumps out in October. But other than that, hopefully this helps you guys figure out what you want to focus on, figure out which bundles you really want to spend your resources on, because you're really not getting that much gold per month, right? You're getting, if you're free to play, you're getting like 1,500, maybe a little bit more. I think it's like 18. If you're buying the season pass, you're getting like 31, 32, something like that. So, it's fine to wait multiple months until a really good bundle comes out. You don't have to spend all your gold every month, and I think that's something to keep in mind. But overall, those are the bundles for this month with the new updated conversion. So hope it helps some of you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Educatedcollins snap. Once you watch him, you won't go back. He'll teach you to marvel snap. Your skills will